Welcome to Indie Life Adventures. We are coming to you from the Fuji Motor Speedway. We think this is the day 13 recap. It'll be correctly annotated on the video upload to YouTube, but going off of memory, we think we're on day 13. So it's actually the next morning, so we'll be recapping yesterday. We're waking up here at the Fuji Speedway Hotel. I couldn't decide whether to just stick with an espresso or to have some of our leftover champagne from yesterday, so I just decided to go with both. So Nick here is, I think, in heaven. He is a car guy. We booked this room just specifically for him, and I tell you what, it does not disappoint.
Not at all. So over my left shoulder here, you can see we're at the Fuji Motor Speedway, and our room looks right over the last turn. I can't remember what the name of the turn is. Oh, it's the Panasonic, I believe. The Panasonic turn.
Oh yeah, that makes sense because there's a big sign that says Panasonic.
So at the Panasonic turn, which if you follow racing, it's a pretty tricky turn.
Yeah.
So, and it's really awesome because what it does is it leads down the front straight, or the back straight, front straight.
I love how he's looking at me for clarification. I know nothing about racing. Everything I've learned about racing has been pretty much since we've been here, as he's pointed out all the details and through the museum that we went to. So I will just nod and smile.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But anyway, the better you make it out of that turn, the more speed you get to make down the straight, which that's what racing's all about, is going fast, right?
Yeah.
So.
Which there's a guy on the track right now. It looks like they may be doing practice runs or something.
It may be a track, like open track days where people can pay to have time on the track. It looks like it's a streetable performance car.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't tell what it is. I haven't looked too closely at it yet, but it looks like it might be a Nissan or another Japanese race car. So.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool because every time they get on this end of the track, you can just hear the engine revving, and it's like we're giddy kids like running to the window to watch him go around the turns.
Yeah, it looks like it's a 350Z, but I can't quite tell. It does have a livery on it, so that kind of hides some of the shapes.
So yesterday we woke up in Kyoto, checked out of the Hyatt Place Kyoto, took 3 trains to get here, which leading up to us coming here, I felt like this was going to be a complicated endeavor. Like it seemed complicated when we were looking at the routes. It seemed complicated when we were talking to the Shinkansen information booth. But in practice, it wasn't complicated at all.
Right. So we had contemplated maybe even changing this part of our trip.
Yes.
Due to a lack of confidence of our ability to get from Kyoto to this area where the Fuji Motor Speedway is, and then traverse that back to Tokyo.
Yeah, because we had really thought like, hey, this seems way out of the way. Do we want to stick with our reservation or just choose something else?
Right.
And I'm so glad we stuck with the reservation.
Definitely. And it wasn't just us that had a little bit difficulty trying to figure it out. It was also, as we talked about, our JR railway consultant was a little perplexed as well, trying to navigate the best way. But once we had the tickets in hand, it was super simple.
Easy. We took the Shinkansen to a station, and then it was 2 more subway tracks. So
but
it was like,
side by side.
Yeah, super simple. Like they were smaller stations, and you really just had to choose which direction on the train you were getting on. The signage was fantastic. And the only real delay was once we finally got to Gotemba Station, we had to wait about a little over an hour for the Fuji Motor Speedway hotel shuttle to come get us, to take us that last 30 minutes to the hotel.
Right. And we may actually not have had to wait that long.
I know.
We went out the wrong side. We had the directions.
So funny, yeah.
Yeah, we had the directions to which exit to use, and we totally ignored them.
And just missed it. And so we were waiting for the shuttle driver, And we were there truly an hour early, and we're thinking, hey, they're always timely. Maybe they'll be here early and we can go early. And we waited and waited and waited.
And we didn't see anything.
When it got to be like 2 minutes till the time, we knew something was wrong because nobody's late in Japan. And so that's whenever we reviewed the directions again that they had sent us and realized we were at the wrong place.
But we managed to
shimmy over and get there, and he was there. He had like his sign up, and
yeah, he was getting ready to get out, get his sign held up and everything. So I think he had just got there or had been waiting probably for a little bit and was like, okay, the time is now, so let me get prepared. Apparently they may not know where I'm at. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Super nice gentleman. I think this was my first time riding in a car where the steering wheel was on the opposite side.
Right. So that was fun.
It was.
But before we did that, once we got off the train, we wanted to stock up. So let's talk about our little adventure to the 7-Eleven.
Well, so I didn't realize how many benefits we were going to get with this hotel, which is one tiny complaint I have. Maybe I'm just supposed to know, but had I known all the benefits that we get from staying here, I would have made different decisions. Because I thought that breakfast was not included. And so we stocked up at the 7-Eleven because I had heard the restaurants here on site were very expensive, which they have proved in fact to be. And thrifty me was like, well, hey, let's at least only have to eat in the restaurant once a day, and we'll pack enough from the 7-Eleven for our breakfasts and lunch. And so like truly bought them out of egg salad sandwiches, along with all kinds of drinks for while we're here in the hotel, snack foods. Like we had like,
yeah, it was heavy.
As if we grocery shopped in the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it was heavy.
But now that we're here and we checked in and realized breakfast is included, we could have checked in as early as noon instead of having to wait till 3. I don't know if we're going to need all this food we brought because we went to dinner last night and it is now 9 a.m. and I am not the least bit hungry, and there's a breakfast waiting for us to go to.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm not even hungry.
Right. So that was an adventure.
But once we got to the hotel, and pretty much the remainder of this recap is just going to be on the hotel because we haven't left. We had tried to book a hike for today, but there's going to be 100% chance of rain. And so they said, no hike for today. It's not raining yet. They do have e-bikes here. But again, with the weather, we may not use that amenity. But tell our audience all about our stay at the hotel yesterday evening.
Yeah. So we get checked in, and obviously, if you've watched the room unveiling, right? It's really nice. It was an upgrade, so we checked in, and they're like, "Hey, just so you know, because you're American Express, we've upgraded your room. Here's all your amenities and benefits that you get. Here's a nice little letter saying thank you for staying."
Yes.
And then they carried our bags up to our room. We get checked in, and lo and behold, we have this wonderful corner room that sits right on the end of the track. And if you were trying to book a room for race day, this would be the one.
Oh, it's amazing. I can't even imagine how much this would cost on a race day.
Oh, yeah. And literally, there'd be no point for you to buy a ticket to the
Oh, yes,
events.
because you can see everything. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, the only reason maybe you'd want to go down there is if you had like a pit pass or something to where you could get into the garages or something like that pre the race. If you're wanting to fanboy it out or something like that.
Yes.
But other than that, I mean, it's perfect. Plus, you have a little balcony here to sit and obviously enjoy the race. So.
And today is our coldest day yet. It's like 50 degrees out there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd have probably filmed from our deck. But it's damp and cold, and this is comfy inside our room. Yep. So you just get to see it through the window.
Right. And I'll take you out on the balcony before we leave.
Yes.
But other than that, it was actually super nice to get checked in and realize we made it. But the thing is like when you walk in to the hotel, you're just enamored by a remarkable and beautiful automobile racing museum.
Yes, because
Right.
when you come in the front door, you have to ride the escalator up to the third floor. And the first floor and the second floor are the automobile museum, and everything is glass walls. So as you're riding up the escalator, you can just see all these race cars. You're surrounded by them, and it is absolutely beautiful.
Right. So we took the opportunity yesterday to go to the museum, and we'll go back again today. So I got pictures of every car on the first floor, and today I'm going to go back and get pictures of every car on the second floor.
Yes.
And that's going to be cool. So, but to give you an idea of the cars, they have it's kind of a history of the automobile.
Of racing.
Of racing,
Yeah.
right? Of motorsports, and basically from the birth of the first motorsport vehicles that raced, in some cross country races, as
Yeah.
well as the development of tracks here in Japan. So you get to kind of see the progression of the vehicles that were used, and they have very good representations of that.
Yes, and there's
Right.
one car, I did not know this. It's motion censored, and so when you stand in a certain place, like its engine revs, and then it makes the sound of it going around the track. I about jumped out of my skin. It startled me so much because everything was so quiet. We were the only ones in the museum at that
Right.
point. And I bet the security guys, because there were people that worked at the museum and just there to help and observe, and I bet they just giggle at all the tourists who get startled by that, because I had
Oh,
no
yeah.
idea that was about to happen, and I practically jumped out of my skin.
Right. So, but that is a really cool section of that's second floor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of the second floor part of the museum, and on that end, it's got a big sheer curtain that hangs on the outside that covers the entire front wall, and it's got the track layout for Le Mans.
Yes.
And that's because the cars, and so you can see through there, and there's the two cars that are in there. And I'll get you pictures of it. I can't remember exactly the name of the cars. I know I've got both of those in my library or in my garage in Gran Turismo. And they're really fast, but those are both, I believe, winners of the Le Mans.
Okay.
And that's why they sit in that section. So it's kind of boxed off just for them.
Yes. So that's when we wandered and looked through the museum, and that closed at 5, and then our dinner reservations were for 5:30.
Right.
So in between that time, we just kind of walked around to see the amenities of the hotel, and we went and took a look at the gym, the swimming pool, and the onsen. We saw where you go into the onsen. We didn't go in and look. I do want to try that out today, though. That's one thing on my list. But in the gym, every room gets 30 minutes on the driving simulator.
Yes.
And so you're scheduled for 4 o'clock today, and it's this whole setup where you're in this race car and you're just surrounded by screens, and it looks like a big deal.
Right. So it's pretty close to driving a race car. You're going to climb into the cockpit. All the hand controls, steering wheel, all the braking controls, everything's laid out like it would be. And it's also basically piston actuated, so that as you turn and the bank of the track turns or all that happens, and you accelerate and all those things, it's going to give you that feeling of actually driving down the track. So. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see it unfold. Hopefully we can get a video of that.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Yeah, and just so you guys can see how cool it is. But you get one time per visit that's included. I'm sure if you wanted to, you could probably pay for more time. I'm
Yeah, I
guessing,
don't know.
right? Unless it's booked up.
Yeah.
But it seems like it books up pretty quick because everybody comes here and wants to drive it. So,
Yeah.
but in any case, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's exciting. And truly, this place is really cool for multiple reasons, right? one, if the weather is cooperating, you could see Mount Fuji from the other side. Two, you have a trackside view from your
Yes.
room. Three, you've got a museum downstairs.
Yes. And the onsen, which
And an
I can't
onsen
remember
and a gym.
how deep the waters. It was like 1,500 feet is where they're pulling the hot springs from.
Right.
So yeah.
And again, we're near Mount Fuji, right? So it's a volcano. So actually, it's thermally heated,
Yes.
right?
And then on some days, they do let you drive on the track. But today, I guess, since it's a test day, both today and tomorrow, no visitors can drive on the track. But they did have, just down the road is like go-kart rentals with a separate track where you can do go-karts. And the hotel said they have like a hotel car we can use. So we're signed up to use that hotel car at 10 o'clock
Yeah, and like
in 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
So clearly we've slept in too long and started a little late in the day.
Right. So let's recap dinner real quick.
Yes.
So speaking of the hot springs and Mount Fuji and all that other stuff, one of the cool things is that Mount Fuji is one of the rainiest places in the country, I think, in Japan.
Okay.
I can't remember how many meters of water they get a year, but they get a lot. But there's no rivers around here. So
Okay.
what is happening is it's soaking into the volcanic rock, right?
Okay.
And it's filtering down through the volcanic rock, down into the subterranean aquifers, right? And to those geothermal springs that then make all the onsens. Right?
I don't know, but that sounds like a
Sounds about right.
yeah.
In any case, one of the cool things I was watching, and it was actually they were kind of showing us, and maybe it's partly where we got some of the stuff for dinner last night,
Okay.
was you've never seen one before, where it comes from, but
Oh, the wasabi
yes,
plant.
the wasabi plant, right?
Yes. So when we went to dinner last night, we didn't quite know what to expect. At check-in, they gave us a copy of each of the restaurant menus. And so from looking at the menu, I knew this was going to be pricey. But we just went with it, when in Rome, so we just went. And I wasn't even that hungry come dinner time because we had snacked so much on the train ride. And what dinner ended up being was this elegant version of that type of restaurant we went to when we were in Osaka. The one where we went like down in the dungeon and you're sitting around like this hibachi grill with all the fresh fish and beef and vegetables on display. This was like the elegant version of that. It was a giant, it wasn't just one grill. They had,
It was a work area.
it was, yeah, a big
a
giant kitchen.
Yeah.
And you could watch, there were 3 chefs, and as you ordered your items, you could watch them preparing it. It was almost as if you were on a live cooking show.
Right.
Because they were even using the torch to
crisp the skin.
Crisp the skin of the chicken.
Yeah.
And I was totally deceived because you could purchase, they had these preset meals with all these courses.
It was like three different ones they had.
3 different
Yeah.
ones. The least expensive of the 3 was $86 a person, and the most expensive of the 3 was like $130 a person. And I just wasn't that hungry. So in my brain, they had the other side of the menu where they had options for appetizers, rice dishes, vegetables, meat, seafood, desserts. So in my mind, I'm thinking we order something from each category to kind of duplicate what's on the backside. Like I was thinking these were going to be small portions. They weren't. I way over ordered.
We shared.
And yes, we each ordered several things off the menu.
Right.
Each item was divine.
It was really
Beautiful,
good.
delicious, but the portions were way bigger than I expected. And by the time like our main meat dish came out, I was so full.
Right. Oh yeah. So I had ordered like a stew and potatoes, which was not a stew per se. It was like stewed meat and potatoes. And it comes out, it's like beautiful and caramelized. And,
Yes.
very, very tasty. I think it was like maybe a rib meat. Like it tasted
Yeah.
like a rib meat.
It was so
But
good.
like a beef rib meat. But then there was that, and then there was I got the dried squid,
Yes.
right?
Which wasn't dry.
Yeah, it wasn't dry. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure the term they use, why they call it dried, but it was definitely it was cooked
Yeah.
and it was good.
Very good. So much
Lots of
squid.
flavor. Yeah, so
Holy
much.
cow. We couldn't even, I mean, we maybe ate a third of the
Yeah.
squid.
Plus
It
we
was
had your
so
fried
much.
chicken, and then we had my sirloin.
And then my appetizer was tomatoes wrapped in bacon.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh, and those were so sweet.
They were. He brought it up. He's like, it was like you
It was
were.
like the tomatoes made ketchup in your mouth as you chewed them.
They were so sweet
Yeah.
and juicy.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. And then I had another chicken dish that came out, plus the miso soup, which was the most amazing miso soup I've ever tried.
Yep.
So yes, we completely over-ordered, over-ate, and it wasn't as expensive as if we'd have both ordered off of the back page, but it was pretty darn close. When it came time to check out, we had spent $200 at that dinner.
Yeah. What was
Luckily,
it,
we have a $100 credit, so really in my brain, it was a $100 dinner. But it was absolutely gourmet,
Yeah.
beautiful scenery, and I just didn't realize the portions were as big as they were.
Right, and the way they do it is they split up the guests in a way. It almost feels like you were basically being given a private dinner.
Exactly, yes, because we were
You do
seated
share it with a few people,
with
but
other people, but it was all closed off, and you could tell through, there was like a door where they would pass through periodically, and I noticed it was like they had a whole nother room where they were doing this. So I think the restaurant is built around these kitchens and seating, and they have several of those, and so
Right.
everybody feels like they're having a very private, intimate dinner experience.
yeah.
And it was like there were 3 different chefs, there were 2 wait staff that kept coming around if you wanted more drinks. Very, very well done, beautiful.
Right. It was wonderful.
It
so,
was.
to speed this up,
Yes.
one other highlight was you get to play on their race simulator, Gran Turismo.
Yeah, in the bar.
In the bar. And so we were able to take advantage of that for a little while. And I kind of closed the place down because it was later. It was only open that night from 8 to 10, and pretty much got to be on there for like a full hour.
Yeah, and I
so-
watched for a little while and then left him to it and came up and enjoyed an amazing hot bath here in
Right.
the room, which is so funny. They had what I thought were like bath salts, but it ended up being like this giant eucalyptus tea bag for your bath. So as I'm sitting in the bath having my champagne, it was as if I was being steeped in eucalyptus tea.
She was cooking while I was racing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was really a very relaxing time spent here at the Fuji Motor Speedway Hotel.
Right, and it was great. So I finished up racing. Then I talked to the bartender over at the bar for just a little bit. He was actually he was raised in the U.S. and then he moved back to Japan. So that was kind of cool to be able to talk to him and kind of just, get to know somebody, right?
Yeah.
And that was about it, I think.
Yeah, I
right?
think that
We just kind of
really does recap our day. Did I say it was day 13 or day 12? I don't know. We'll check.
Right. So, but the bartender's name was Shin.
Okay.
And he was a pleasant individual, and we really appreciated kind of talking with him. And you got to talk with him for a little bit while we were down there. So,
Yeah. And they have the bar done up in the Halloween theme.
Oh, yeah, 'cause it's that time.
Was it October 29th today? So he was in costume as Dracula, and they had spider webs all over, and yeah, they have
Right.
it all done up for
Yeah.
Halloween. But
So-
yeah, all in all, extraordinarily relaxing. And today we'll see how the day unfolds. And if you want to show them a little of the track, there's a car coming around right now.
There's a car. Oh, there's that car. So I can hear some more cars. Let's see if they come around this turn down here.
It makes it seem like this track is huge if these other cars we can hear on the track somewhere. Or maybe there's another track in the distance. Or maybe we're hearing part of the go-kart track.
Not quite sure. We'll see.
But it is a very, very misty morning here.
We'll zoom back out here for a second.
And chilly. We could tell the moment we exited Gotemba Station that the temperature was different here. It is the coolest it's been yet for our whole trip.
Little breezy. Maybe he'll come back around. Maybe he won't. I don't know. I won't wait too long.
We do have the option for a late checkout tomorrow, as late as 4 o'clock. So depending on the forecast, I may try and see if we can still squeeze in a hike tomorrow, because it would be so incredible to hike a little bit on Mount Fuji. We only have 2 nights left in Japan. Tonight here at this hotel, and then tomorrow night back in Tokyo at the Hyatt Regency on Tokyo Bay.
All right. Well, I won't make you guys wait too long, so we'll go ahead and end it at that so we can get downstairs and
yeah, I guess we'll take a look at this breakfast buffet and then head to the racetrack, the go-kart track, or maybe even delay that departure just a little bit if possible. But
well, we'll have to talk to the front desk.
yep, we're going to go with the flow today and just try to take advantage of all the amenities here, and definitely try the onsen at some point. All right.
All right.
We'll catch up with you tomorrow.